Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab, sponsored by CPA Practice Advisor, with your hosts, Randy Johnston and Brian Tankersley.
Good day. Welcome to the Accounting Technology Lab. I'm Randy Johnston with my co-host, Brian Tankersley. We've seen a lot of new technology as this year's unfolded. Today, we wanted to speak to you about Materia, which has a rather odd website, trymateria.ai. Now, this particular product really fits more in the audit and assurance space, and the CEO, Kevin Merlini, and the CTO, Lucas Adams, were both at Facebook before they came up with the idea for Materia. Now, one of the things that you should know about Materia is we think it represents the trend that we see in products where AI is going to be incorporated into the platform. It's going to become part of the platform. So many are worried about, are they going to get left behind on AI? And our position has been, you can use the generic platforms, the Chat GPTs and the Copilot 365 that we've spoken with you in other technology lab. But we think for most accountants, AI will become part of the tools, just like you don't think about secure socket layer being part of your web browsing experience. It all got built in. So Brian, on Materia, again, this is an AI platform for accounting and assurance operations. What do you think is important for our listeners to hear about?
Well, I mean, I've looked through their information and so forth, but the idea here is that it's really a tool to analyze and summarize documents, to again, and to summarize and create memos that talk about the guidance, and so kind of summarize the related rules. You can go through and look at engagements, and you can again go through and kind of standardize workflows with it. The thing about it here is that when I'm looking at this, I think there is a lot of value if you have a lot of documents. Okay, so people with significant leases or debt or other things like that could certainly use this to go through and figure things out about discover things out of the related documents. I actually went through and read. They actually have a privacy page, and I was actually quite impressed with what they said on their privacy page, because they said your data is not used to do, they have a SOC 2 type 2. They say categorically that they do not, your data is yours. We do not train any models or content provided to Materia. And again, they've got it, they're saying all the right things with respect to it on privacy here. And I think that's important because, like you and I've discussed, this is kind of the AI world right now is kind of the Wild West. And the free versions of all the products almost universally use your data to train models. Intuit actually uses your data to train models according to their privacy policy in QuickBooks Online and their website. And so I think I was very encouraged to see somebody have a categorically say, we do not train models with your data.
Yeah. And Brian, when you and I have spoken about this, these private AI models, private to the firm, is actually a pretty important step forward in AI. Further, Materia has said, we're US centric. We're going to try to work with your firm's guidance and policies. We're going to ingest your client's document to help you with your day-to-day work. They're going to read your firm's checklists, whether it's reviewing board minutes or debt agreements and so forth. And it'll actually look for your engagement data to make sure that everything inside the work papers are, connected. Now, over the fairly recent past, I believe it was on June 20th, Materia raised about $6.3 million in funding. And that's important to know too, because that particular round was done by Spark Capital, Haystack Ventures, Thomson Reuters Ventures, Exponential Founders Capital, and the Allen Institute for AI. Now, they didn't disclose the various amounts, although I think I did, learn of some of the amounts along the way. But I thought the Thomson Reuters investment was important because it gives you an idea that this might get incorporated with the Thomson Reuters Checkpoint Engage AI. It might be incorporated more heavily into advanced flow, but the founders are trying to keep this thing relatively independent at this point in time.
Yeah, I think generally as we're kind of looking at this, there's there are a lot of interesting things this is doing right now. This seems to be a tool for big size and big firms and mid-sized firms that are trying to again use AI to process information. But one of the interesting things that they also have in their about is where is their sub processors. Okay, and this is another thing that, and I'm trying to find it on the page here, but this is another thing where they are very forthright, saying that they use OpenAI's. So in their trust portal, actually, they list their sub processors, and their sub processors include Claude. So the Claude engine, Merge, Cohere, Amazon Web Services, Anthropic, which of course does Claude, Datadog that in there. And again, they're using AWS for their hosting, and they're in the US East region. Okay, so they're doing a lot of things right, and they're working with multiple models, which I think is pretty important.
Yeah, Brian, I think that'll be a great topic for another technology lab because, you and I have spoken about subprocessors. You did work on that in AI Confidential for K2 this year. And I've actually concluded, Brian, we should produce a naughty and nice list for subprocessors because we are worried about the data when things go to a subprocessor. But again, the subprocessors here looked pretty good. Reputable companies is the way I would say.
The only one that gives me any pause is Cohere. Because I think they have a lot of links to the U.S. intelligence community.
Yeah. And so the whole subprocessor conversation, friends, if you're not aware of it, we will make you aware in a future technology lab. But Brian was correct. The Materia company has paid for a SOC 2 Type 2 audit, and they do integrate with Microsoft 365 and a variety of internal data and document stores. And beyond that, the implementation here is quick. They do offer pilots so you can evaluate Materia if you'd like to do that. They also are very conservative with the data, as Brian's pointed out. They try to make your data, your client's data, accessible to the AI platforms to answer questions and do workflows and so forth. But the relevant part of your data is the only thing that's sent to the AI models. And so the data is never used to train any models. Now, in prior technology labs, we've actually spoken about OpenAI's Chat GPT, which the $20 model is used to train models, but the Teams model, the $25 model, does not use your data to train models. And that's a shift in OpenAI's policy, here in the past year or so. But Materia is used by all levels of your auditing and accounting team, intended to be used from staff and managers all the way up to partners to try to get answers faster for your clients.
And I think just generally that's the major story we have here. What we're seeing again is that a lot of the really real innovation, kind of the moonshot type projects, are taking place with startups like Materia, as opposed to taking place from within the big firms, the big publishers themselves. there are notable exceptions and some that we've talked about it. We're going to talk about in subsequent technology labs. The Thomson Co-Counsel feature, the Wolters Kluwer Answer Connect tool are two notable exceptions to that. But in general, you're going to want to watch the space, because AI is going to hit, and it's everybody's talking about it now, but it's not going to be too long before some folks are using it to great effect. So I would encourage you to do some experimentation and take some demos and check out some of these emerging tools to make your firm more efficient and effective.
Very good. Well, Brian, I think that's a good summary. The assistant inside Materia that does the embedded citations, the Microsoft 365 integrations, and the document workspace are all part of how this product works. I'll just part with the additional, I'll say, comment that the integrations are to SharePoint and OneDrive, as well as Box and Dropbox and Google Drive. So they've integrated to a variety of other systems out there. So again, it's worth, we think, if you are in the audit business in the US, to at least look what Materia might do for your productivity. We look forward to speaking with you again on a future Technology Lab. Good day.
Thank you for sharing your time with us. We'll be back next Saturday with a new episode of the Technology Lab from CPA Practice Advisor. Have a great week.